Hi kids, today and this week during asynchronous time, you guys are going to be working on learning about the scientific method. So we're going to start off with some notes. Your essential question is, what is the scientific method and how does one follow it? And we're just going to basically give you an acronym today to follow, and an acronym is just a quick little saying to help you remember something. And the first letter of that acronym is going to be O for observe. So I'm going to write observe. And you need to ask questions about your surroundings if you're a scientist. Basically, what do you or what do I want to know? So let's say, why does my water bottle that's not frozen freeze when I take it out of the freezer? Maybe that's your question. The next letter in our acronym is H for hypothesis. And a hypothesis is just an educated guess. What you think will happen. What do you think will happen? What do I think will happen? So after you've observed and you've come up with a question to ask, then you hypothesize. When you're done hypothesizing, then you do your experiment. So E stands for experiment. And you must do the experiment at least 3 times for it to be an experiment. So when you make a volcano and you make that volcano once, that's not an experiment. That's just you showing somebody how to do something or making something that somebody can see. You must do it 3 times, and you must do it exactly the same way every time. So right now, they're making vaccines, and so they must do those experiments on those vaccines the same way every time. And let me try to tell you, they're probably doing it a lot more than 3 times each, because these are things that are going to go into people's bodies, and they worry about that. Okay, the next word is conclusion. It starts with a C, conclusion. After you've done your experiment, you're going to have to decide and make some conclusions and connections. So as they're doing these experiments on these vaccines, they're probably making some conclusions. Oh, that's not working. Maybe we should try this, or this is working. Maybe we need to add this to make it even better. So they're making those conclusions and connections and changing it up a little bit. And the last word is knowledge. After you've done your experiment, you've come to some conclusions, you gain some understanding and some knowledge, and you even might have to start all over again. It's a cycle. And so if you've gained understanding and knowledge and you want to repeat the experiment and maybe change something, that's where you go back. You've made your observations, you make a new hypothesis, you come up with a new experiment, a new conclusion, and you gain knowledge. And that acronym to help you remember the scientific method is OHEC. So what you have to do today after you make your notes is you need to come up with your questions on the side, at least 3 questions. So I'll write that over here, 3 questions. Try to come up with some higher level thinking ones. And then you need to reflect and answer the question at the top. What is the scientific method and how does one follow it? The scientific method is the method that scientists use to do experiments. They must observe, hypothesize, experiment, conclude, gain knowledge, and maybe do that experiment again, and you could maybe even give me an example. Make sure you take a picture of your notes and turn it into Classroom.